this is Riding with Ree with me and Ted. We've just been for a lovely early morning hack. It is 3 degrees today and now I'm just going to pop Ted out in the field. But for today's video, we actually haven't been jumping in a while, so I thought I would show you one of my show jumping lessons recently where we had a new instructor and show you what happens when we need to change up the exercises in the moment based on what's going on with me and Ted, and just show you what that was like. It was a super rainy day, Ted was on great form, so that's all exciting. Before we get into that video, I told you that I've been working on a product. I now have that product. It is an equestrian planner, Undated Equestrian Planner. You guys know I love to plan my week, so I've planned every single page, all the outside, all the inside, so that you guys can plan along with me. I'm going to show you that now, and then I'll link out below if you want to see the product. It's a great Christmas gift, something to start 2021 right, and hopefully nothing like 2020. Let me put Ted out and then I'll show you the planner. Okay, Ted is out in the field and we're back home, and I have the equestrian planner that I designed here, so I'm going to take a look with it, show you every page really, and show you the design that I did. Obviously I'm a really big planner. I love to sit down on a Sunday evening, usually with a hot chocolate, and plan my week ahead with my horse. That helps me to get it in around work and make sure that I have time to ride and I know when I'm going to ride. I've done a video previously on how I plan the week before a dressage competition, and obviously there's nothing wrong with not planning your horse riding if you just want to hack about and have fun, but personally I find that if I don't have a goal or something to aim towards, that I can get a little bit bored and feel a little bit aimless. So that is why I designed this planner. So on the front cover it says equestrian planner in gold foil, and on the back you have my Riding with Ree logo. So it's super simple, super clean. I wanted something that would be practical enough for the yard but chic enough for your coffee table. So on the first page it just says equestrian planner. So you open up the first page and each planner has a little note from me, which I'll read for you now. There is no feeling like reaching a goal with your horse. In that moment of exhilaration, we can forget every month, week, day, and hour of work that led up to that moment. This equestrian planner is designed to help you get there every time. Keep each day organised with micro goals that lead to big achievements. Approach your horse with patience, plan your schedule with positivity, and ride with determination. Every day is a new opportunity to grow. Good luck with your first week, Ree. I really wanted to do that and set the intention for the planner, but also to give you guys a real personal note and kind of help set you up and hopefully feel inspired for your first week. So if we go on to the second page, we have some personal details and useful information, your vet, your farrier, and then here is where you're going to do your goals for the next 12 months. So the great thing about this planner is that it's undated, so you can start it any time of year. You could of course start it in January, you could start it in March with the new eventing season, you could start it when you get a new horse, for example, any time of year, whenever you like. And what you're just going to do is write down your goals for the next 12 months, so the next year, depending on when you start. And that's the moment really to think big. I've actually left a note here. Think big, any dream can be broken down into achievable steps. And then you're just going to put the planner start date down there so you can track it. And then you go into your first month. So as I said, it's undated, so you would write down the month and you write down all of the days here. We have a little task list if there's anything that you need to do. There's space for goals for the month right at the bottom there, and there's a little space for notes if you need to remind yourself of anything. And I personally use this space to remind myself of worming, farrier, all of those big things or events that we have coming up. Then we go into the weekly pages, and this is where I get really, really excited. So on the left hand side of the weekly pages, you're going to have Monday to Sunday. Again, it's undated, so you put whatever date you want. You denote whether or not it's a riding day, and then you're going to put the activity that you're doing and the focus of that activity. So for example, you might put that on Monday you're doing show jumping, and the focus of that show jumping activity is to find a rhythm. So you might want to do grid work. And I personally find it really helpful to know not only the activity that we're doing, but also what we're trying to achieve from it. And then on the right side of the page, you have space for daily notes. So you can write down whatever it was that you learned, or things that went well, things that didn't go well. Maybe you were trying out a new technique, a new piece of equipment. And of course, at the top here, you have your goal for the week. So you'll notice that you started with your yearly goals, you break those down into monthly goals, and then you break them down into weekly goals. So for example, my weekly goal this week was literally just to jump Ted in his new saddle. It's not going to break ground, but what it is going to do is lay a foundation for me to say, okay, we're confident in the new saddle, now we can try and do maybe a competition in the new saddle. It all builds up, and you'll have that for 12 months worth. So those pages go on, you have 12 months. There's 5 weeks available for every monthly slide, just to cover any extra days. So if your month starts on a Wednesday and you need the extra bit of weeks, it's all there. And then at the back of the planner, there's just space for a few pages of notes. so that you can write down anything you want. And I would love to hear feedback. If you do get one of these planners, they are linked out in the description. You can buy them on Etsy. They are free UK shipping and free US shipping. There's a small shipping charge for places outside of that, but I will try and keep it as low as possible, I promise. I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know if there's anything you'd love to see in here for the next iteration, because I do want to keep developing this. Are there colours you wish you had? Is it a different size that you wish you had? Let me know, because the possibilities are endless, and I really want to create something that you find as useful and as exciting as I do. I am honestly so proud of this. It has been almost a year in the making. I've been working on this for so long. I'm shooting it with a friend in a couple of weeks to get some photography, but I'm really excited, so I hope you love it as much as I do. Right, let's get into this show jumping lesson. So firstly, we warmed up together and I spoke to Hannah a little bit about the things I was trying to work on and the challenges that I have when we're doing flat work.
But yeah, I do feel like I'm sat with all of my weight on the left side because I'm trying to keep us up. He feels like he's like this. You can see how any of the issues you have with flat work will only be exacerbated when you add in jumps.
So you might be thinking, why are you telling her about your flat work if this is a jumping lesson? And I'm not sure if you heard what she said just there, but she said you can see how any issues that you have in the flat work will be exacerbated when you start jumping. And that was really where we started from today, was that foundation of just where are we coming from and where are we wanting to go to. So we talked a little bit about setting horses up for the fences and the scales of training, and then it was time for our first exercise.
The purple pole over there.
Yeah.
You're going to just have a turn around and you're just going to canter over that purple pole. I worried for a while that maybe he was rushing because he was like anxious, but I don't think that's the case.
During these pole exercises, Hannah and I had a very interesting chat about where your space is and where the horse's space is. It is your job to get the right canter, the right rhythm as you come around the corner, but then actually, in those last few strides, it's up to the horse to be able to do what they want to do, and for you to actually be able to sit back, not interfere, and let them jump how they like to jump, and you learn to sort of go with their feel and the way that they like to do things.
It's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
To be able to do nothing. Yeah, that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
But you're not doing nothing because you've got all your work to do around the turn.
Yeah.
You're looking after his balance, you're keeping him supple around your inside leg, you're maintaining a contact. You've got enough to do.
Yeah.
You can't be placing him all the way in.
Yeah. So this is where the rain started to pour down, and as I said before, this is where I'm just focusing on setting him up as we go around the corner and then doing nothing and letting him pick the stride, letting him pick the speed. And honestly, this is just with a pole on the ground. It is such a simple exercise, anyone could do it, and it is one of the hardest things I've ever done, is just sitting there and going with his speed. He jumps very quickly, and that can be quite frightening, honestly, to just sit there and not give him a little half vault and just let him keep that rhythm. But it was a really beneficial exercise and one that you could certainly replicate in your own arena. It doesn't take a lot of equipment. So next we upgraded to a cross pole, which of course for Ted is the most exciting thing in the world. He did get very quick, and again I just tried really hard to sit and do nothing.
See, that feels mental. Yeah.
So I'd mentioned to Hannah that sometimes I won't say anything to Ted and yet he'll go on a bit of a funny stride, and this time round that happened, and I wanted to pick a moment to just talk to her about it, because we initially thought that maybe I was doing something as we were going into the fence, a half halt or something that was throwing him off, but this time he did it all by himself, and that was something interesting.
Those are the scary ones.
We needed to get a bit scrappy in order for me to know what.
Yeah.
So after that conversation and seeing when things go a little bit wrong, Hannah had a better understanding of mine and Ted's partnership and what we did when we jumped, and we ended up doing then a grid instead of the course that we had planned to do. And that's what I loved, actually, was that she changed up the lesson depending on what we actually needed. So here you can see us doing a little bit of grids just to slow him down a touch. And I'll be honest, this was a challenge. As a rider, Hannah asked me to keep him in this really steady trot, and then as we came up to the grid and that first pole, I was to let him do whatever he wanted and not hold on to him, not pull him back, and that's really terrifying. It's a hard thing to do as you're going into a line of grids, to just sit there and be like, okay, especially on a horse like Ted who does get faster and faster, but that is what it's like. That's what lessons are for, challenging you, putting you outside of your comfort zone.
Good boy, well done.
So it's going well, and you can see here that Hannah has just whacked the fences up a little bit just to encourage Ted to sit up and look at them really and take them seriously. And I have to admit, I walked past them and I was a little bit frightened, but I trust him, I trust her, and I know why they were up. It wasn't to scare me, it was to make him sit up and listen. So, you know, again, lessons for going outside of your comfort zone, but Hannah also had to remind me to breathe as I jump these fences and not hold my breath.
I breathed a bit late.
So this time you can actually hear me do a big exhale before I get to the line of grids, which is great. So the next and final part of this lesson that I want to share was once we'd got Ted at a reasonable speed, I wasn't interfering with the grids, it was about actually letting him have a jump and then making him come back and listen.
Then you're saying, okay, that's fine, you've had your jump, now come back to me and listen.
Yeah.
Really make him listen.
Okay.
Steady.
And that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Leave me any questions or comments below. As I mentioned earlier, if you do want one of the equestrian planners, the link is below. It's just on Etsy. Type in Undated Equestrian Planner. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. You can message me on Instagram. You can leave a comment on here, Facebook, whatever you prefer. My email, it's all fine. So let me know, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.